This might be the most versatile guitar ever. Since its introduction in 2005, the Taylor Guitars T5 series has been the go-to guitar for anyone who needs an acoustic and electric guitar tones from the one instrument. Of course, now there are many popular brands and other options for hybrid guitars. None of them quite sound like the T5, and that's kind of what's going on under the hood, which makes that big difference. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Why don't we see what's changed with this brand new iteration? The model in my lap right now is the Taylor T5Z Custom, and along with the other models behind me, and you'll see throughout this video as well, they are the T5z Pro models. Now, they do continue on with the kind of traditional sounds that you would expect from a T5, but maybe not on first glance you might not know what's changed about these, so let's look into those. One of the first major changes is actually the inclusion of urban ash, which is a wood type that Taylor have been using for a good few years now. They have been using on their American Dream series for anybody who is familiar with that. Urban ash has got a kind of similar tone property to Sapelli, which is actually used on the older T5 models, which, if you're familiar with that at all, this will still react and kind of sound pretty much the same as you would expect from them. Urban ash is great for tone, it's great for the environment, it's an absolute fantastic wood that Taylor have been using. And if you want to know a little bit more about Taylor's kind of conservation efforts, then click the link just above there. We actually visited them and you can see proper behind the scenes footage about what they're doing right now. Not only does it have these really comfortable sort of contours now, which weren't included on the previous version, including this really like smooth armrest here, which, I mean, I haven't felt any resistance against this the entire time I've been playing this. Another huge move that has been made is actually the relocation of the controls. If anybody is familiar with the other T5 range, all the controls are actually up here, your volume and your two EQ controls, which we'll touch on. You notice they're now there, which is kind of a lot more sort of familiar for any guitarist who, you know, plays an electric guitar. It's not that it was particularly fiddly to sort of do them there, but this certainly just feels a lot more natural. And with the relocation of these controls, what that means is they have gotten rid of one of the other F-holes that used to be on the T5 range. Notably, I can't see any sort of huge tonal differences with this. It still sounds absolutely fantastic for both acoustic and electric, which you'll definitely hear throughout this. With this sort of, you know, just down to one F-hole, it might actually mean that this can handle much heavier distortion tones, which, yeah, I might have to just try that. As mentioned, there are two options available in this new kind of added refresh to the T5 range, including the Custom, which is sitting on my lap right now, which has this absolutely stunning Hawaiian koa top, and also the gold hardware. And with the Pro models that are just behind me, they have a figured maple top on them, are available in 3 different colors, and have nickel hardware if you just want something a little bit more, I guess, less flashy. Spec-wise, both guitars share the same bits: a mahogany body, ebony board, jumbo frets, a 24/75 scale length, so it's kind of got a very Les Paul feel to it for anybody who's familiar with that. And of course, these awesome spine inlays and a hard case is included with both. The most standout feature of the T5 range, as I mentioned, is actually the pickup system that is included with this. And for those who are unaware, I'll kind of break that down and I'll kind of give a quick strum just to see what all the differences are. It's worth saying for all the tones, we are going through a Line 6 Helix today. I've got 2 patches set up on the one kind of scene here. I can flick between an acoustic preamp and then into more of a kind of Voxy electric tone, which I can throw some effects on as well. I'll just kind of go through all these tones on the 5-way selector. So starting with the first here, this is the neck humbucker, which is actually underneath the body here, and also a body sensor, so you can hear that's actually picking up the sound of the guitar itself, much like the Taylor acoustic system that's in there. They're actually the same, the Expression 2 in all of the Taylor models. So here's the neck and the body sensor. This is just the neck humbucker. Moving on to the bridge humbucker just here. And then even just to hear that with a sort of, you know, more of a driven tone there. Then the bridge and neck pickup in parallel. And then finally, neck and bridge humbucker in series. Obviously, having access to all of the tones just on this slider here, it really does kind of, versatility is the name of the game with this, because if you do want to, you know, have an acoustic tone, say during a verse, then switch it directly to an electric, you know, your one position there, it's nice and easy. And especially in a world where, you know, somebody maybe needs the versatility of this, they may be using some sort of digital modeler as well. So, you know, how easy it is to go from just one sound to the next, just with like one foot switch and then one change. It's an absolute sort of godsend for anybody who needs all of those sounds. Slightly circling back just to the controls here, we do have a volume and a bass and treble EQ control, which kind of means that you can just tailor the guitar, no pun intended, of course, to whichever sound just as you're here too. So I'll show you how kind of dramatic that can, you know, sort of change your tone whichever way you want to go. So the first one is the bass, the second one's the treble there. And obviously, if you do, you know, use the electric sounds in this as well, with having access to the bass and treble controls right there, you can get out of that sort of humbucker tone that you would expect. It's worth saying as well that the lipstick pickup in the bridge there is actually stacked. So when I mentioned a bridge humbucker, it is giving you that kind of full tone right from there. So I guess who is the T5Z for? You know, I've already mentioned that if versatility is what you're after, then it's kind of already checked. You can probably, you know, leave this video, but obviously give us a like and a subscribe before you do that. But I think the fact that this sort of fits effortlessly into most musical scenarios, I think like that's the main draw of this guitar, in all honesty. Whether it be having to switch from acoustic to electric, you know, on the fly, or, you know, say you just want a guitar at home or in the studio that can cover so many different genres or so many different sounds, all from the one. You know, it saves up space, it saves up time. I mean, I haven't even touched on how well these guitars play. Out of kind of a lot of other hybrid guitars, they certainly lean into that more acoustic sort of like feel more than anything, is what I would say. The T5 genuinely feels like I'm playing an electric guitar. The action is super, super low on it. The tension isn't that real strong kind of fight against, you know, when it comes to bends or doing any like actual, you know, electric guitar sort of playing. I haven't struggled on this at all. And of course, if you're just looking for like a super light guitar as well, then This absolutely weighs nothing, so I don't think your shoulder is going to be giving you any problems if you're playing this for many, many hours. But I think safe to say, if you do love the sound of a Taylor, then that kind of decides your fate as well. The T5 just has that lovely brightness and just that real articulation that you kind of come to expect if you are familiar with Taylors. They're definitely like their individual tastes, not for everybody, but if you do like that, then you know you're absolutely going to get on perfectly with this guitar. But what do you think? Have you tried a Taylor T5 before? Does having all of this versatility in one guitar appeal to you, or do you want to keep your electrics and acoustics completely separate? Let us know down in the comments, and of course, like and subscribe. I know every single YouTuber goes on about it, but seriously from us, it helps us build up this community of guitarists and really kind of brings us all under the one banner. And you know, it helps us kind of know what you guys want to see. And you know, if there is anything you ever want to see, please just drop it down in the comments. We're always all ears. I've been Keiran, and I've been thinking, how would this sound going through a 5150?
It's good.
How's it done?